Hi, so with the news of the new legendary tokens being added in patch 7.3.2, it's again setting itself up, I think, as one of these features that there will be a number of people that will be very pleased about these and will think, great, this is fantastic. But equally, the vast majority are just going to be annoyed by the system. So let me explain what this system is, first of all. There are going to be legendary tokens added in the next patch, and that's mini patch 7.3.2. These you're sort of going to get, it's only for people who have all of their classes legendaries. And when I say classes legendaries, I mean classes legendaries, not specs legendaries. So, for example, if you are a druid, and when I was talking about this in guild, immediately the druid, one of the druids in the guild went, hang on a minute, I've got 4 specs, we've got more legendaries than anyone else, it's going to take us longer to do this. So, yeah, if you're a druid, it's going to be a lot longer before you get the benefit of this. Second of all, if you're a demon hunter, you're going to get a lot quicker than anyone else. But the idea is, you know how it is at the moment. You've got, if you're like me and you've been playing Legion since it started, you've been playing regularly, not doing loads and loads, but doing a decent amount. You've got all of your main specs legendaries. I've also got a few off-spec legendaries as well. So what happens now is when I'm on my main spec as loot spec, I get a legendary, and I had one this week, for example, and it was a holy one. But for me, it'll be either holy or protection, because I've got all the retribution ones. So what would happen if I had all of the legendaries? It's like, what am I getting? I'm not getting anything, but I'm still doing that content. And let's face facts, if I had all of my classes legendaries now, I've been doing a lot of content that rewards legendaries, and I'm thinking I'm not getting anything. So we're going to get these tokens, and it will be a token for a random class. So I, as a Retribution Paladin, I've got all my Paladin legendaries, so at the point at which I'm due to get another legendary, it randomly pops up, and I get a token. It says, I get a Demon Hunter legendary, and, you know, and I can use it on my Demon Hunter alt, and they can get a random legendary. So it helps you get legendaries for your alts. The theory, again, sounds brilliant. In concept, this sounds like a pretty good idea, because I think at the moment, legendaries are the big drawback for alts and new characters, because we can gear up relatively quickly now. They've put stuff in the game to help us catch up with gear. I mean, you know, we've got stuff in the game now to help us catch up with artifact power. I mean, I had a chuckle at the start of Legion when Blizzard were announcing Legion as the most alt-friendly expansion ever. And it just... derision community-wide about this, because it was the most alt-unfriendly, demonstrably the most unfriendly. But give the developers their due. They have been putting things in throughout Legion to help. Absolutely no arguments about that. My issue has generally been twofold. First of all, they've often done this reactively rather than thinking ahead about people who play alts. Secondly, I think there's a lot of unnecessary barriers for alts, because I understand that they want to put some barriers in the way of alts to keep us playing, because if we're going to be playing alts, you know, they don't want us everything putting on a plate, because then, you know, we might burn out the content on the game. And like the alts allows us to experience the game in another way as well. Although I could, you know, I don't want to go into the topic for another subject, but specifically for these legendary tokens, you know, the legendaries is the one thing you can't catch up on easily. You know, you can start a new character now and you could gear it up in a reasonable amount of time. You could get it, you know, decent relics, you can get it decent gear, you can get, you know, the tier sets from various places. Now you can just run the dungeons and various different modes. You've got Titan Forge and you might get lucky with that. You can get AP, because again, you know, you're not got alts that are way behind on AP. You know, we're all keeping in step now and it's all automatic. So you can get artifact power really quickly as well. Legendaries is the big problem, and legendaries depend on the obviously if you're just doing like solo content, easy content, it's not such a big deal. But if you're wanting to do raiding or mythic plus dungeons to a lesser extent, but you know, if you're really pushing it, then it doesn't become a lesser extent at all, then suitable legendaries are crucial, absolutely crucial. So, and you know, you have this bad luck protection which helps you get your first couple, but if your first couple ones are bad ones, that's not really very helpful, is it? And, you know, they have talked about potentially increasing the drop rate of the next few as well. I would say at this point in time, most people have got all their main specs legendaries. So, and I know some people don't have one main spec. If you play a pure DPS class, for example, you've probably got at least 2 that you rotate between. But many of those players may also have both of those as well. But the issue is that I don't think in the here and now you really need people to be trying to get legendaries. I would just remove all barriers, or not all barriers to it, but I would make them extremely rapid to collect. In fact, you know what I would do? At this point in time, where we are now, I would have the weekly mythic cache give a guaranteed legendary. You know, still have all the other sources for legendaries that you can get it from. I would up the rate. Just get people caught up. We're nearly, you know, we're coming up to the final major raid of the expansion with Antorus. Just let people raid that in whatever character they want, will you? That's what I would say to that. But yeah, so the issue here is that you're getting this tier token and this legendary token. Druids are stuffed by it. Demon hunters are going to be a better thing. But then here's the other thing. So let's say I'd got all my paladin ones. And at the moment, I've got level 110. I've got a Demon Hunter, but I haven't played that since I started. I've got a Death Knight. I've got a Monk. I've got a Rogue, which I haven't been using recently. I can't even remember everything I've got. I've got a Warrior. Got a Hunter. I've got stuff. But there's a few others that I intend to level up at some point. I haven't leveled up my Druid yet. I haven't leveled up a Priest. Going to be doing a Priest for the beginner's guide soon. I haven't leveled up a Mage. Oh, I have leveled up a Warlock. I forgot about the Warlock. I haven't used it. I haven't done a Shaman. So there's still a few characters I haven't leveled up yet. So let's say as a Paladin, I get this legendary token. And it's for a Mage. And I'm thinking, well, I ain't got a Mage. So here I am, and again, this is what I mean. It's a nice concept in theory. You've got all your legendaries. So then when you'd normally get a legendary, you get a token for one of your other characters. It's fantastic. Thanks very much, Blizzard. This is great. Fantastic idea. But you just get this thing, it's like a mage. It's like, well, I ain't got a mage. So are we going to take it that it will only give you one for a character on your account that's level 110? And it doesn't have to be 110, of course. You can use legendaries at like level 101, can't you? Is it going to do that or not? And even if it, even if it did that, that's not necessarily still going to be all that helpful, because you've got, there were some classes you play more than others. Like my Demon Hunter, I'm really not playing my Demon Hunter anymore. I made a Demon Hunter because I was going to use it for, I did use it for split runs in Emerald Nightmare when expansion first came out, so I leveled it up again. But then I sort of went off it. I'm not really keen on the Demon Hunter now. So if I got a Demon Hunter Legend, it'd be like, well, they could probably use it, but I don't use the Demon Hunter. I'd much rather it was a Rogue Legendary or something like that, or a Hunter Legendary, or Demon, or a Death Knight Legendary. So, and this is what my issue with it is. You've got this idea, and it's quite good in concept. And I'm loath to use the example of the Netherlight Crucible to compare it to, but it is like that, isn't it? Like the Netherlight Crucible, it's just one of those things that if you get high item level relics with really good traits, you're really happy with the Netherlight Crucible. It's fantastic. If you get really high item level relics that don't have the good traits on them, it's an upgrade, but you're a bit disappointed, aren't you? And if you get, relics that round about your own item level with bad traits on it again, you sort of know that maybe you'll get luckier next time, but you're still disappointed. It's one of those things. Small number of people really happy with it. Load of people, it just creates disappointment. Same with this system, this legendary system. So first of all, the only people that are going to be happy with it, and it's like they're just the tip of the iceberg, are the people who first of all have been able to get all their legendaries. That means they've played the game on that character a lot. That's a really small proportion of the player base. Even given that 7.3.2 isn't out yet, that it's still to come out, that's still a very small number of people that have got all those legendaries. Then it's going to give them a random thing. So it also has to be people that not only have done all that stuff on that character, but they have all of the other classes as outs, potentially. Further, because even that group's still not necessarily happy at this point. Further, they have to be people who actually play all of those alts equally, because they're not going to be very happy at getting a token for a character they haven't played for 6 months and don't intend to play for the following 6 months. So, you know what I mean? Really small number of people that will go, oh, great, yeah, just been wanting that. Give it to that character. They've been trying to get legendaries. Even if the legend, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about whether the legendary itself ends up being useful. I'm just talking at this point about whether the token even looks suitable. Really tiny number of people. Everyone else disappointed. So the ones who have all their legendaries but don't play outs, or at least don't play many outs, could get it for something they don't play, disappointed. The people who don't have all their legendaries but they want to get them on other characters, disappointed, because they're thinking, I would like this system. And, you know, and I know, because you'd think to yourself, well, how can you get it? Because it's supposed to automatically pop up at the point at which you get legendary. At the moment, we're going to get it for our class. You know, maybe there could be another way of wording it. As I say, go back, just have this situation like where the first, you know, just have a resource or something you build up. You know, like you'd get a resource to upgrade a legendary. Maybe you can use that when you've upgraded all your current legendaries. You can use the same thing, maybe more. I'm not saying just as many, but maybe a lot more. And use that to get a legendary token from a vendor or something for one of your outs. And then you could target the one you want. Maybe what you should get, instead of a random legendary popping up, when you've got all your legendaries and, you know, this thing appears, this random Death Knight token, maybe instead of that, and it's not too late to change this, of course, maybe instead of that, you get just a generic token, which again, you turn into a vendor for your token of your choice, the class of your choice. So you can go, I want a Death Knight legendary, please. You're still not choosing the legendary, it's still that token, but at least it's for a character that you're going to play and will benefit from it. That's my opinion anyway. I'm not sure what yours is. Put it in the comments below. Those are my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed them. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share further content. And until next time, I'll see you later.